to SwimScape podcasts. Apologies for the long break. We got quite busy over the summer as we were helping Jono Riddler and his world record swim down the east coast of the North Island. We'll catch up with Jono at some stage in the future and give you the whole story. But this episode is about something different. In this episode, we talk to Nick Russell. Nick is an amazing lady and so positive, which is really stunning when you hear what she's been through. She runs a charity called Kenzie's Gift that supports young people who are going through grief, which might be through the loss of a sibling or a parent. Kenzie was Nick's daughter, who passed away from cancer at 3 years old, about 20 years ago. But Nick started this charity despite dealing with her own cancer because she wanted to support young people. Swimming was one of the ways that she dealt with what life has thrown at her. Now, spoiler alert, there's much more that's happened with Nick's life, so just keep on listening, and it's amazing she keeps on smiling. So, here we go. Welcome to another SwimScape podcast. In this podcast, we're talking to Nick. It's Nick, is it?
It is indeed, it is Nick. Yeah. Only get Nicola when I'm getting told off.
Well, I don't want to be told off. I get enough of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nick, we normally just start off by asking you to tell us a little bit about your swim story, and then we'll see how the podcast goes from there.
Great. Well, my swim story starts back in Northern Ireland. I grew up beside the ocean on Carlingford Lough, and the water temperature was somewhat chillier than Auckland's water temperature.
Oh, yeah.
And but it was more just for pleasure and a bit of fun, but I always loved the water. And when I came to New Zealand, I'd always liked this swim the harbour.
Yeah.
I think Scott, gosh, it's not Scott.
Scott Rice? He started it.
It is Scott Rice. What am I talking about? Look, it's not Scott. Scott's name went out my middle-aged brain there for a moment. And I always wanted to do it, but I was living on Motatapu Island at the time, and I knew that was out of the question until I moved into the city. So when I moved into the city, I thought, yeah, I can do that. That'll be no problem at all. I'm fit. And then realised swimming is a whole lot different than just running, proper swimming. Because whenever I was taught to swim in Ireland, I was taught to swim with my head out of the water, and my technique was completely shite. So I had to go and have some wonderful swimming lessons again to swim properly. And when we went to do the swim challenge with Scott that first day on the, we were down at Bayswater, was the start of it that year. And Scott comes casually over the MC going, now there's just been some orcas in the bay. They're not known to be of any danger to humans, but this is your chance to step out and not go or continue. We continued, and that was the start of my proper swimming, ocean swimming
Nice.
in New Zealand. And I actually did it for Kenzie's Gift at that time, because but we'll talk about Kenzie's Gift in a little bit. But I really enjoyed my swimming, and then I was part of the Devonport Swim Club for many years, and I did most of Scott's ocean swim series. It was really a well run event, and it was a good thing to get into. I was never going to be a marathon swimmer like Grania or ultra marathons like Jono's done by swimming the whole way around the country. But they inspire me. I just love the water, and I love seeing what swimmers are doing in New Zealand, and we've got some amazing bodies of water to swim in, like, you've been Taupo, like it's cold to swim Taupo Lake, just, a little kilometre of it. It's but people that can do 42 kilometres overnight, it's just so inspiring, and what Kiwis can accomplish. The Kiwi swimming community is amazing. And so that's why I'm so. But after swimming, doing my ocean swims for a couple of years, I went into heart failure. And so that put paid to any of that type of shenanigans. And then I got Parkinson's. So my swimming now, I'm not allowed to swim in a public pool because of my immune system. That was told absolutely you cannot swim in a public pool, but you can swim in the ocean, so long as we don't have red alerts and black alerts. But I'm only allowed to swim in the ocean now. So my swimming is probably about 250 metres, depending what my body decides to do on the given day. Parkinson's can sometimes play nice, or sometimes it won't. And my neurologist said swimming is the hardest thing for a parkie to do, because there's so many body, components going together to coordinate to swim properly. So some days, literally, the body's freezing, so I'll have to stand up and aqua jog, and then the body will start coordinating itself again, and it'll go again. So it's all this complex stuff, but still I swim. I love the ocean, and I love New Zealand waters, and so yeah. That's
There's
my
like
swim
a
story.
whole bunch of stuff going on there, right? Kenzie's gift, Parkinson's, heart failure. Is that why your hair turned purple?
Yes, that's why my hair turned purple.
Okay. I was just trying to figure that out.
I was going to have to be me. It's because it's all about me, and I need to be attention seeking. So I think, why don't I just make my hair purple?
Cool. That's a wonderful story. I remember that harbour crossing. Actually, I'm pretty sure I was there as well because that I remember the whole orca.
Well, I think we all
orca
did. As
story.
soon as we said orcas, as much as we want to see orcas in the wild, I didn't really want to be swimming beside. I want to be fair.
Yeah. I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
So they say orcas have never attacked any humans, right? But unless you're in an amusement park or whatever it was in America, they have actually attacked humans.
When they shouldn't be in an amusement park, that's not where they're
Exactly.
supposed to be.
Exactly.
And I think, people have come across orcas in the wild and they're more curious. Unless you're living in the Northern Hemisphere where they're attacking boats now after COVID, and that's been an interesting discussion, the science behind that one of why they are attacking boats.
Yes, in Portugal there was a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, I know this is a side issue, but I think some hypothesis is that over COVID they thought this was lovely. There was no noise in the water because there wasn't so many boats and stuff around, and they really got to enjoy it. And then
They've realised the boats are the cause of
noise, or maybe and because they're a smart animal, maybe a boat injured one of them. You just don't know, and it's their revenge, the orca. Who knows? But it's quite an interesting thing going on. But that's not really to do with swimming. But we digress. I want to do that.
Yes.
So, leading on from that, we're looking at doing some swims to support Kenzie's gift, and I thought this would be a wonderful time for you to tell us and all of our listeners a little bit about Kenzie's gift. It's quite a story that you've got. We'd love to hear it.
Oh, thank you, Jim, and thank you, Duncan. So Kenzie's gift. So my story pretty much stems back from whenever I was out on Mototapa Island. I had two little kiddies, Kenzie and Connor. Kenzie got seriously sick, and so did I. In 2005, we both got diagnosed with cancer. And tragically, Kenzie died at the end of that year, aged 3. And my life fell to pieces. It's something that's been my defining moment. There was life before and there was life after. But what we found at the time was there was no mental health support for children and young people, and for the parents, of like, how do we deal with grief when something's gone off like this? What do we say to children? What do we say to parents? How do you explain that to them? So we set up Kenzie's Gift to support the mental health of our young Kiwis whose parent or sibling has died or has a serious illness in the family. Because it's often the unspoken thing.
Yes.
And grief is a lonely sport. People tend to avoid you because they don't know what to say. We all want to fix it. It's really, really hard. And you can't fix it. What you need is useful humans whenever this has happened to you. You need people that will walk beside you, that will be there, that will maybe take on the life admin for you. And knowing that there's an organisation there like Kenzie's Gift that will help with the tough conversations. And that's what we're about. So to date, we've supported over 7,000. And we're a small charity, you know what I mean? It's got a part-time crew. Maybe one of them have got another contract. We're all running on a shoestring budget, but we punch above our weight. And it's like last year we supported, was it 150 children with direct therapy with over 3,000 sessions? And that's a lot of money, and
It's
to bring in.
huge.
And instead we do this part-time, we've got 40 clinical psychologists and psychotherapists around the country now. They get triage. We have our doctor of clinical psych triages the families as they come in. We've got resources that we deliver to hospitals, palliative care, paediatric intensive care unit at Starship. So our resources are really valued because they've been written by clinical psychologists. They're based on evidence. They're not well intended, but they actually, and it's a nod to our Kiwi culture as well. So we've been very fortunate to have Gráinne Moss, the formidable Gráinne Moss, who's been doing her big ultra marathon swims and been supporting Kenzie's Gift. And it's, and I think we've all got this connection with water. And I think for me personally, water and the big blue has been good for my mental health through all of this. I did need support to, continue my life and function and everything. But I know on a given morning, if I go down to the sea and just get in there, you never have a bad swim. You never regret a swim. And it's always kept me grounded. So when life is really shit and really hard, there's something about swimming. And that's why I think, we've always been...
I reckon you should make your hair blue.
Yeah. Yeah, instead of being big.
Yeah,
The big
that's
blue.
next year's colour.
Yeah, yeah.
So interesting point, right? You sort of touched on how people don't know how to approach a situation like that. If somebody passes away or if somebody's going through a tough time, it's often easy to acknowledge and then just like try and move on because it's you don't want to unpack it,
Yeah.
and you don't know how to deal with it. And I mean, how should people deal with it? What are your...
Well, I think words don't fix it, but I mean, people often say, "How are you doing today?" It's much easier to say, "How are you managing today?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's not, because how are you doing? Well, you're going to be shit, right?
Yes.
And some people avoid, maybe not bringing your loved one's name up, but say their name. They want to know who that person was. You want to keep their memory alive. So don't be afraid to speak their name. Some people, I think we all go, "Oh, if we say something, we're going to upset them." They're upset anyhow. Their loved one isn't with them anymore.
Exactly.
So you just speak their name, because we all like to share memories. Yeah. If you think if an older person dies, you love hearing the crack and their stories and the memories about them, or if their friend goes, "Gosh, that was a wonderful thing to hear," because you love to hear them. And it's like when somebody will often say to me, if I've met someone new, for example, and we've got into conversation and it turns out their child died or their partner died or someone died in their history, the first thing I'll ask is, what was their name? What were they like? And you can see that automatically the smile, like something they love
Brings
storytelling.
back all the happy memories.
It does. And I've met many adults whose parent died whenever they were a child and it was never spoken about. And the legacy that's left with them now. You know what I mean? So I think it's not being afraid, to turn up. But the thing is, avoid the platitudes, you know what I mean? Because we'll often say things well-intended but quite hurtful. And I think, so avoid those. It's more better to say, "I'm here." Find the bossy friend, for example. If something's just happened, a crisis has happened, is find the boss friend and go, "Right, okay, look, I don't know what to do, but I want to help." Because you can't ask a person, "Well, just call out if you need any help." Well, no, you're not going to do that. But I had boss friends and they had everybody organised. They leaned into, "Well, she likes to cook. She's useless, right? We'll get you to lead meals around." "Right, okay. You're a good entertainer, right? You can keep Nicola entertained."
Yes.
"Oh, you like walking? Well, you can go out for a walk with them." "Oh, you're the schooled one. You're good with the kids, right? You can do that." And then they lean
delegation.
into the delegation. And then, because it's life admin takes place, and then you can be with it, and you can go out and you can walk and talk or lean into what brings can get you through each day, can put you one foot in front of the other, because it will be tough. But as I said, we need useful humans. We don't need platitudes. We don't need words. We need people to turn up. I'm not
So
avoiding
I was this stupid guy at the back of the class. What's a platitude?
Well, if somebody says,
Sounds like a found in a buffet.
well, it's like if somebody would say to you, "Oh, they're in a better place now."
Yes.
And
It's just like you're saying something just to...
or the other one you get is unsolicited wellness advice.
Yeah.
Unless you know that person, don't say, "Have you tried this?"
Yes.
Just, "Have you tried this?" You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which every time I've been diagnosed with something, I will get that wonderful piece of advice coming from someone, and they all want to, advise, because you want to feel useful.
Yeah.
But don't do that. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
if you haven't been down that road, you're not qualified.
Unless you know that person, if your person's into that, lifestyle or whatever, and wants that, yes, by all means. But if you know that person, and if you don't know that person well enough, don't do it.
Well, that's one of the life lessons I've learned, is that, all your advice should be kept to yourself, because, it seldom works.
Yeah.
Unless somebody asked you,
Yeah.
just keep it to yourself.
Yeah. And as I said, useful humans, do something useful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's and whatever your skill set is, if you're not the cook, don't leave a meal. That's not what your thing is. But if you lean into what you're good at, you know what I mean? And even it's a thoughtful, like what I often do is I'll ask when their loved one's birthday was, and find out when their death date was. Put that in my phone straight away. Every year it rolls around, just as a little text going, "Thinking of you today." Just thinking of you. You're not asking them a question, because to ask a question, "Oh God, I've got to answer that." Never send somebody a question. Just say, "I'm thinking of you today." No need for response. Just checking in. You know what I mean? All those type of things, just randomly.
That's
but
good
never
life
ask a
advice, that, hey? That's really good advice.
Yeah, because those type of things means I care, somebody's thinking of me, so you don't have to turn up with a big bunch of flowers or anything else. It's just the thought that they're thinking of me and they care. They've thought of us today. It's a nice gesture.
So they work on my wife's birthday and Valentine's Day.
I think she'll want a little bit more from you. I think a text message isn't going to fly cut mustard.
I really like that advice. Just you don't have to ask them a question, just being there, because that question, kind of implies that they have to do something.
They do. I found that after transplant, 3 days after transplant, people were bombarding me with messages. And I was like, my brain's completely fried, and it was fried for about 6 weeks afterwards. And I hadn't got the wherewithal to answer questions. But others were going, just a little say, just thinking of you, and no question. They didn't want to know.
Yes.
They weren't asking me questions because I couldn't respond. I mean, because your brain really has to, it's quite muddled. And the same whenever you've got, if there's been a death or if it is a serious illness, your brain is so frazzled. It's another thing, as you said, to think about. I've got to answer that, because then if you don't answer, you feel obligated to, because you think they're going to think I'm rude. You know what I mean? If you don't respond, but it's never ask the question, just the thought.
So one question, what we've just been talking about in my mind means how you would interact with adults, but you're doing a lot of work with children. So if you were to come across, a family or a child that was going through tough times, what would you do it the sort of same way, or how would you react differently? Because they're going to be approaching and dealing with things differently, or is it all on a case-by-case basis?
Well, I think when it comes to children, honesty is always the best approach, but you've got to remember the age of the child, and it's giving them the language, explain to them the language that they can understand when they're ready for it. Never lie, because they know they've been lied to. And it's never use euphemisms either, so we use the D language. Death, dying, died, you know what I mean? It's because they don't understand. They've gone to sleep, passed away, lost. Lost, well, they could be in the warehouse and got lost around. So what do you mean they're lost? So we can find them again. Yeah. So that's what's using that everyday language. And I think that's why we've got lots of resources on the SwimScape website on how to do that in simple terms. And it's really simple, easy language. And like children are often, they show, don't tell, younger children. Teenagers are different because they show it through play. And that's where they'll often role play it out, how they're feeling and stuff. They'll often find it in their drawings, how they're expressing themselves. So it's different from adults where we would have a chat one-on-one, even with teenagers. As many of us know, when you want a conversation with a teenager, it's like go in the car, go out for a walk, but don't sit and sit down and expect a conversation. They'll not open up that way. And it's just, that you're here for them. So children are different, but it's always, and not every child needs therapy either. You know what I mean? It's like with Connor, for example. I'll show you what happened with Connor. So I was a hospital play specialist. So my career had been working in the hospitals, explaining tough medical things to children. So ironically, I had the skill set whenever this happened to Connor and Kenzie. So whenever Kenzie went into paediatric intensive care, so she'd gone through a year of her cancer treatment and she got sepsis. So she was in the paediatric intensive care unit. So I was bringing Connor in to see his sister, but I took photographs of the machines first and sat him outside and showed him the photographs of what Kenzie looked like so he wouldn't be shocked. Yeah. And explained to her that her body was really struggling to work at the minute and it needed a rest, and these machines were helping her rest to hopefully try and recover. So that was one thing. So he could see it. It was hard and it was sad, but he was part of it. He was part of the family. So at no part then could he, not know what was going on, because he'll take that through his adulthood. Whenever she was dying, he was part of that as well. Whenever the body came home, he was part of that. He got to see her body. He touched her body. He asked questions. Mummy, she's cold now. Why is she cold? And I explained Connor, well, the way I explained to a 5-year-old child was, Kenzie's body's like a car. Some cars you get and they keep going forever and ever. Some cars crash and you get a doctor to fix it. And some cars are just lemons and they keep breaking down. I said, Kenzie got a lemon. Her body wouldn't work for her. So the analogy was between, your soul and your body. That was the analogy I used for him. But at all points of that experience, he was part of it. He was part of the whole thing. Family was there to be with him. He still had the economy, maybe go in and, have 5 minutes with the sister. Then he wants to go out and play or go off to the park, because children will do that. They'll flit in and out between it. And that's normal. But it's just being open to their cues whenever they're ready for it, but not bombarding them, but they're part of the family. We're so wrapped in our own grief. It's making sure people are there for them as well, because we call them the silent grievers, because they'll also want to protect their parents. So they often won't say anything because they'll see maybe their parents or other family members upset. So that's why that whenever, our therapists are really good that way, stepping in, but not every child needs therapy, you know what I mean? It's just actually, actually this is a tough time in your family life. These are the tools you need to get through it. And you may be doing really well as a family, as best as you can, and you will come through it, And, but it's like we then were doing and to give you an idea about how Connor was doing, shortly after Kenzie died, I was doing the Herceptin campaign here in New Zealand. So that was advocating for a breast cancer drug that was required. And about 6 weeks or 8 weeks after Kenzie died, we decided we would take a pink coffin down to Parliament to showcase so many women in New Zealand dying each year because they haven't got access to this drug. So we thought, right, well, the women were coming to my house and we were painting this coffin up at my house when Connor was at school, and he was supposed to be on a play date after school, and my phone was in the house. And I thought, right, so before he comes home, we'll have this out of sight so he won't feel traumatised after considering his sister just died 8 weeks ago. So the next thing, we had this coffin all up on the table, and next thing, the gate went. In walks Connor with Kimmy, our au pair. And I was going, Jesus, the looks on our face was just about had a stroke. And Connor's like going, oh, Mum, a coffin, can I get in it? And it's like, so we had to manoeuvre this coffin down, and he wanted in it, and he wanted his toys in it, just the way Kenzie was. So it's like, we were really worried that he'd be traumatized. He wasn't. It was all part of life and death. And Connor's aware of that even now as a young
was adjusted to the process.
Process of life and death, and you got exposed to it really early. But again, by being always open, because the conversations flowed as he got older. So we're just always open about and honest about these conversations.
That's probably the best advice for any problem in life, right?
Yeah.
You got Kenzie's gift focuses on children or on the family unit?
We focus on 3 to 24-year-olds.
Yep.
We do support parents, but we don't offer therapy to parents, but we will support them in the parenting role and how they can support their children. And there's other wonderful organisations that are there for parents. And I think that's, again, we had to focus where our intent was, but it is looking at the whole. If the family, if the parents aren't functioning well, I mean, the child isn't going, so they have to be well supported as well. But the therapists do give them, advice on how to parent and stuff and that. But we don't offer the therapy to them, but it is for the kiddies, and that's our main focus, really.
That's amazing. It's amazing work that you're doing. It's.
Yeah. And
did Kenzie learn to swim before she passed?
Oh, she loved the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Matatapu Island?
Both the kids were out on Matatapu Island, and even whenever we had to move in to town whenever she got sick.
Yeah.
And the last memory we have of her at the beach was about probably a week before she had to go in, where she got the sepsis. So she just come out from having her last round of chemo. And we were down at Narrow Beach, and her and Connor were down, and he had stripped off to his undies, and she was in a right kerfuffle. She wanted stripped off because she wanted to get into the water. And because she couldn't walk, but she loved her legs being thrown about in the water. It was just in and out of the water, and her giggling and laughing, and her just in absolute paradise. And that was the thing about Kenzie. Whenever, and I'm not making a cliche over it, but I think she taught me more about living than any adult ever has.
Yeah.
Because it was that, and it's the immediacy of children, where they live their life. They're not worrying so much as adults, where we do, where of course we've got to pay our bills, and what does this implication mean, and we've got all these responsibilities that child doesn't have.
Yes.
But in their immediacy, they just live it.
Yes.
She wanted to be alive. She embraced it, and I think even that's what Connor now says, even at 26. It's the best way he can honour her, is live the best life he can. And I think that's where I sit as well. Like, life is hard. I'm not downplaying it. Life is always stressful with its ups and downs, and it's not easy. And but the thing is just finding those little habits every day that can get you functioning through. And when the dark clouds pass, you do get sunlight.
Yes.
Is
Kenzie the full name?
Mackenzie Erin.
Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Switched on to Kenzie. Yeah.
That's lovely.
That's cool.
So you've had a bit of help sort of along the way, and we just talked about Grania. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and Grania and sort of.
Well, it was actually, this is New Zealand being small and coming around full circle. I first met Grania. I I'd come off Motor's Happy for the day. I used to needed my sanity, my weekly sanity break into Auckland. And I used to go to Takapuna Pool. So I put the kiddies in the creche and came into the pool to have a swim. Yeah. And geez, didn't I forget my togs? And like, there's no way going back to Motor's Happy to quickly get a set of togs. No. And Grania happened to be in the pool and she had a spare set of togs. So she lent me, well, she never got them back, of course, a set of togs that I gratefully took from her. So I wasn't swimming in Takapuna Pool nudie. I think I would have been arrested. And so yeah, and then over the years we had mutual friends and mutual colleagues and stuff. So we met through the years. And whenever I first did a winter swim for Kenzie's Gift, because it was always had to be quite, with not having a big fundraising team or a big budget, because I mean my budget for fundraising is like, a couple of $1,000. So you're trying to put things all together and get all this word out. So you're trying to be savvy. Yeah. And so I decided I would, whenever I'd gone into heart failure, actually, and I said to my cardiologist, look, can I co-watch swim? Because I was always an adventure seeker. And he said, yeah, just do it carefully, just keep going. But yeah. So I started swimming. I went down to the beach on the 1st of June. And I thought, oh, sure, I might set up give a little page in it and just, showcase this. And it took off. We ended up raising about 16 or 18,000. I thought, God, that was great. But I knew that next year we'd have to do something a bit different. So it's so I set up the Winter Swim Challenge and opened it up, to others, and hopefully others would do it. So I messaged Grania because I knew she had the Wellington swimmers down there. And thought, would any of your Wellington swimmers like to do the Winter Swim Challenge? And she percolated with it. And then Grania had just started up her marathon swimming again. And then that's why then she thought, actually, whenever I'm doing these swims anyhow, I'll make them for Kenzie's Gift. And she's kindly done that now. So I think Grania's raised us nearly, over this last few years of doing her swims, has brought in about 50,000 over the last 5 years. She's been amazing. So people getting behind Grania and throwing her 20, 50, $100, whatever they feel that her swims are worth. And, to help like our Kiwi kids. I mean, makes a huge difference to us as an organisation. I said, we don't have government funding and all that big cash and big, regular donors or big corporate partners. It's a little small grassroots thing that's punching above its weight. And our auditor last year, we got a new auditor, and he said, I just can't believe what you're delivering. On such a, your impact. Cool, yeah. So that was good. When you hear an auditor telling you that, you're going, phew. You know what I mean? It's damn good, I have to say,
High five to Grania, yeah?
Yeah, high five to Grania. She's amazing.
And all of, everything that you do, yeah.
Yeah.
So we supported, or SwimScape supported Grania on the Auckland Triple Crown not so long ago.
Yes.
And you were on the boat acting as a second.
I was.
Have you been a second before?
No, that was my first time, and I loved it. I loved it.
Tell us about that. What were your expectations, and how different was it?
Well, my expectations was I was shitting myself because the brief from Lauren wasn't much. So what do I do? Like, feeds, okay, right. So it's like, thankfully, Mike Cochran was on the boat.
Yeah.
It's like going, so I followed sort of his lead when it came to the feeds and stuff, but I hadn't got a clue what I was doing. And
it looked like you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I thought so.
Well, the Irish are very good at being, it's what did they say, fake it till you make it type thing.
Yep.
Something. And it was brilliant actually, and just like I could just watch Grania all day. It's just like this whole day in a boat. My only concern was, of course, the toileting issue, boys. It's
but with you're overboard, and we sorted that out.
Yeah, we got to ring a toast. And but no, it was really good, and being able to be part of that. Seeing Grania's preparation from early morning. Getting up early, getting her feeds ready. Getting her graced up, and on the boat, and you're sort of wondering about what's going through an athlete's mind. Before those type of swims. If it was me, I'd be having losing the complete head altogether. Grania's just so. Well, I can't speak for Grania's head, but she's so composed and just, and then she goes, and it's just, you're just watching this athlete go and go and go and keep that pace, and you're going, my goodness, and how then feeding every 30 minutes and needing to say you've peed as well. There's no hiding your bodily functions as when you're marathon swimming.
No.
And it's and being a part of that accomplishment and seeing someone do 3 swims over 4 days, big swims out, we're going, geez, it was just phenomenal, really.
She's pretty hardcore, man. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So, we are going to try our very best to try and raise some funds and some awareness for Kenzie's Gift with our charity swim in November, which is the 12 by 1 mile. Last year we worked with Mike King and the I Am Hope Foundation, and we did a little sort of spiel. I don't even know if that's a word, dude. That's like a South African thing. For men, men's lives matter. Or men have feelings too. Was our tagline. But yeah, I think we're super excited to get involved with Kenzie's Gift for this season. And if anybody's listening to this podcast, come and swim. If you're not swimming, donate.
Or support a swimmer that you might know.
That's the one.
Nick's going to let us know how we do that in the next week or two with regards to fundraising pages and all of that stuff. I mean, have you got a team behind you that helps you with all of this, or is this just you?
Oh no, it's not me. We've got a small team that we contract in. Simon does the websites for us, which is really good. So it's he does them unreasonably for us, so we can tailor them, which is really great. We've got a couple of young social media, digital marketing people again. A few hours each week. You know what I mean? They're the brains beside that side of things, and I'm conducting this. I'm conducting therapists. I'm conducting development resources, conducting whatever. Yeah. And it's like, so you're sort of at this, you know, sort of you've got all these balls in one place, and it's like. Yeah, and keeping your mind on track. It's like, because my mind can go. It's like you're juggling so much stuff. But yeah.
You're going to at least dip
of course
with us, yes?
Of course I will be there.
Okay.
I'll be there cheering them all on. Yeah, and I will get into the water. I may not be swimming a mile because probably my party being I might be swimming about maybe 100 metres. 100 yards? It should be 100 yards.
We might chuck you in the IRB and make you like head lifeguard for the day or something like that.
Oh, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Head cheerleader.
Head photographer. Then we can give you lots of roles.
Social media, because I was doing on your social media for her that day.
That was really good. Yeah. We're going to just hope that we get decent weather.
Yeah.
Because we'll sort of do it whether it's rain or shine.
Yeah.
And if it's a sort of lousy day out there, it
makes it hard.
It's a long day, but it's for a good cause, and you know, we sort of have. I think last year we had about 45 swimmers, literally going out on the hour every hour, swimming a mile, which is a long day. And we'll definitely need some help, you know, in terms of getting guys warmed up and coffeeed up and smiles back on their face in between. So we'll hopefully get to know you guys a little bit better, you and your team.
Yes, we'll be
on the day.
All volunteers, because there's lots of swimmers here when it comes to winter that swim with me as well. So
we'd
love to come down and cheer on people that get behind the charity. That's what we can really do, because we really appreciate everybody's efforts.
Yes,
it's small, large, whatever they can do. It means it makes a huge impact because for children, they're living with it for life. You know what I mean? And the referrals that we get through every week, you know what I mean? And most of the questions we get asked, it's like, my wife's just died. How do I tell the kids? You know what I mean? This is quite common. You know what I mean? It's or a child has died, and these are tough questions, and it's tough things to deal with, and they're living with it. Their lives have been upended. So I think for people to go out and have a swim and get really cold and really work their bodies really hard, that means a hell of a lot to us. It means a hell of a lot. So we really do appreciate you putting your bodies through it. But you are making a huge, big difference to the lives of
I still think we're doing the easy part, right? Yeah. Compared to what all those families are going through and all what those kids are going through, the swim's the easy part, right?
Well, and I think, you know, anybody listening to this, you don't have to do 12 by 1 mile. You know, even if you do 1 by 1 mile, it's fine. You know, if you're you're up to doing more,
or just come and pull up a deck chair and support. To your point, like, come bring a flask and some coffee and just come and spend some time.
But just for those swimmers, we had swimmers swimming anything from one of the swims to 12 of the swims. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever spins your wheels and whatever you're prepared to try out. Yeah.
So why can't you swim further? I know you've given me a whole long list of issues that you've been through, but like, what's the summarized version as to why you?
It's probably
you can't?
The Parkinson's, to be fair.
Your body's just not strong enough.
Well, it just doesn't behave itself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like some days with the Parkinson's, my body will move okay.
Yep.
Some days it won't.
Yep.
And so I can't go out deep because I don't know if I'm going to freeze. When I say freeze, I don't mean cold. I mean the body will just
literally just stop.
Nothing will coordinate and nothing will move. So the transplant gives me, like when I had the heart transplant, it gives me back my cardio, activity. And
The transplant and the Parkinson's, that's non-related whatsoever, right?
no, they're not related. No.
So there was the cancer.
There was the cancer, and then there was the heart failure, which was
How long after the cancer was the heart failure?
10 years.
And
then
what type of cancer was it?
I had stage 3 breast cancer, aggressive breast cancer. So I had mastectomy, ovarectomy,
Yeah.
chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and immunotherapy. So it was about 2 years of treatment for me.
Yeah.
And then I have been cancer-free since then. And then I had a hormone, blocker as well for 5 years.
Yes.
And then it's and that was fine. Heart function was fine. I was doing my adventure sports, my big swims, and my tri events and all the rest of it. When I got to 40, I was training.
Were you a triathlete?
Yeah, well, I was training.
Cancel this podcast. Just hit cancel it.
That's saying triathlete. Because then I was training for the Iron Distance Challenge event in Wanaka, and the training was not going to plan at all. And I got in to do the swim, and that was me. I was out of there. And 2 months later, I was at my cardiologist, and he said, "Nick, I'm not surprised because your heart's going into failure. My heart function had dropped quite significantly." So then I was on medication for about 10 years, and that held my heart function quite well, but it meant my runs and my big bike rides, I had to adapt, which was walks, hikes, swimming with fins on, it was just different than going on an electric bike. So I've adapted every time my body has failed. So I haven't gone, oh my God, I can't do. I just
do it differently.
Just do it differently.
Yeah.
So then the heart went completely in 2021, where it dropped from the ejection fraction, this gets a bit technical, it went from 37 to 27%. So I literally couldn't walk around the block. So I got on the transplant list. I was on it for about 10 months till I got a new heart. And so that helped with that side of things. And was life-changing because now the fact that I can...
Wow. What did you do while you were waiting? Did you wake up every day thinking, oh my God, am I going to get through the day? Or was your heart working?
Well, I think when you've got heart failure, it's one of those things you look, well, I could still get on my electric bike and go along the flat to get down to Cheltenham Beach to dip. Yeah. And literally it was more of a float by that point because you weren't really going very far at all. And I've never been one to go, is this my last day? You can feel your body begin to fail. You feel the fatigue more, you're sleeping more. So you feel as if you're dying. That's the way I put it to a friend once, because your whole life force is pretty much seeping out of you, because that's what it feels like. It's just like your energy, because you just don't have it. So that's what I felt. You were living a death. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like to me. And then I was still working because I need to pay bills. So thankfully I work from home. And I was sitting on the computer one Tuesday, and the call came through, like, there's a heart here for you. Come in. So because the heart comes in a box, and it's no longer the 4 hours and get in here urgently type thing, you've got 24 hours pretty much. And so we got in, and I had the surgery then. I got the call on about 1 o'clock on the Tuesday, and I had the surgery at 4 o'clock on the Wednesday morning.
Jeez.
And
is this ACC or not ACC,
no,
private medical aid? Like, how does it work?
It's just the public health service, because you've only got one transplant service. The heart and lung transplant service is based in Auckland, so it's centralised in Auckland, so it's the national service. Yeah. So you can't get lungs or hearts on a private. That's that's intensive. Stuff, and it's equity as well and access to it. So. Yeah, and there's lots of moving parts ethically. So
once you sort of got through the recovery, what difference did it make to your life?
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm no longer wanting to sleep every 5 minutes. It's the fact that I can walk up North Head, the fact that I can walk up Mount Vic, the fact that I can actually swim further. Longer just I can walk with friends.
So I'm hearing you can do the 12 miles now.
No, you're not. You're not. Because you still got that pesky movement disorder called Parkinson's that causes that.
I've got so many questions. Whose heart have you got in your body now?
Well, they don't tell you whose heart it is for obvious reasons, but it was a young person's heart. And so there were a young person that has tragically died, and their family gave the biggest gift that they could at that time. So we don't know. I think it's a bit of a fallacy, where people think, oh, you're going to want to meet. I didn't. Yeah. And oftentimes they don't either, because my friend, their child died and they donated organs. They said they don't ever want to meet the recipients because it's too hard. Yes. For me, I'm already carrying the death of my own child. I can't carry the death of somebody else's. If that sometimes gets projected on. You don't know if you would get on with somebody, you know what I mean? It's all those things, and it gets quite complex. So for me, I didn't want to meet, and I'm sure they didn't want to either, but I did write them a lovely card and said, you know, I will live my best life I can. That was how, again, like with honouring Kenzie, as well as honouring my daughter, I'm honouring your child, that, you know, you've given me this wonderful gift that I can be here and see my son grow up. He's graduated, he's got his first job, he's working in logistics, been able to see all those things I might not have got to see, you know, had I not have got the heart. So
how old are you now?
I'm now
You
50.
can lie by like a couple of years.
I'm 53.
53. So actually she's like 57. No, I'm joking. 53. Okay, so brand new heart, you're good for another 50 years.
Well, Parkinson's might do that, yeah, because you always forget to go, because it's degenerative as well. So again, I don't look at it. What I can do now, I can function well now, and that will change over time, and it has changed over the years already. I notice my tremor and stuff gets worse over time, so my body's not functioning as well as it did. But again, you just adapt, and I'm above ground. You know what I mean? It's I've got wonderful, and I wouldn't have got through all of this without my friends, to be fair, you know, with friends and wonderful supporters. And I think that's which makes life worth living, is having good friends around you, or family, you know, but it's having those loved ones.
I agree, but sometimes you've got to compromise, and I just use Duncan.
Yeah.
I don't have any other friends either, so I'll just use Jim too. So it's all good. I couldn't find anybody else. Will you be my friend, Nick?
I'll be your friend, Duncan. I'll be your friend.
There we go. There we go. We've got done. There's 3 of us now. Parkinson's came after the heart transplant.
No, it came in before. I'd had symptoms for about 7 years, which is often the case. These little symptoms that were all, so I had a tremor. I was having difficulty swallowing. I was having difficulty with my hands. I was peeing, you'd want to pee urgently, and it's like I was catastrophizing. And these are all symptoms of actually Parkinson's, but you look at them in silos. So you get sent off to the incontinence clinic, like for the over 70s, and you're going, oh, for frick's sake, this shouldn't be happening in my 40s. This is totally embarrassing. It's like the tremor, nobody really put that down. I went off to get the swallow test done. Hands, I'd end up having carpal tunnel done, which wasn't carpal tunnel. And I had masking on my face where I looked sad or mad all the time. People going, are you all right? Thinking I was really pissed off all the time. And it was like really slow and stiff at the time as well.
Kids call that resting bitch face.
Resting bitch face. Well, that's what it was. It looked like I had resting bitch face all the time. And I was, and my walk had changed quite a bit. And I was having quite a few surgeries at that time for, a failed reconstruction to do with the breast cancer. So we put it all down to that. And it turns out it was Parkinson's. As soon as they put me on the drugs, it was like night and day. Because it's because your brain isn't producing any dopamine anymore, which is what dopamine is needed for your movement, but also then mood and all those other things that we don't think about. It's so many parts of Parkinson's. It's a huge, big disease. So, and no two people are the same with what the symptoms they're going to get. So it's but as soon as they put me on the drugs, it was like, oh my God, it's back to me, me again. You know what I mean? Which was really good.
So you reckon? So the risk is you potentially will freeze, as in your muscles will stop working in the middle of a swim. Well, and obviously then you're going to sink, right?
Well, there's quite a few parkies that I was on a forum, and it was an international forum, and one guy said there'd been quite a few swimmers in it, and they were all quite depressed because they had to give up their swimming because they nearly drowned because they'd gone out deep. They'd gone like they used to do, and all of a sudden the body froze, and you sink like a log. You sink really quick and then people didn't realise they had to flip because they couldn't flip themselves over onto their back. So you're face down, and your body freezes. Right? So you're face down, you can't flip yourself over. So you're going to drown. So they had a couple of episodes of that. And I just said, well, I just stay in the shallows. I don't, because then somebody said to me, one of the comments was, do you wear a life jacket? I said, no, I'm in the shallows. I do not move out of where I can actually stand up. So, because I have sometimes found even me, I've found the times I can't flip over either. And I said, going, Jesus, at least my friends are here so I can flip. Or just try and get my legs,
breathe,
or get my legs down.
So, swimming in a pool?
Not allowed. Because
of all of the
immune system. That was what the cardiology teams that do not get into a public swimming pool. Absolutely not. You can swim in the sea.
All the urine and all the kiddies, everything.
Sure, there was an outbreak down in Wellington a few months ago, wasn't there, in the public pool? So you had Giardia or something. Something happened. It's that type of thing, and they do. I mean, when you're swimming in a pool, it's this closed body of water. you're sweating, which is dilute urine. You know, when people live with their undies on, you know, you don't know how well they've cleaned their backsides after they've gone for. I shouldn't be putting people off in the swim, but it's all those things in little kiddies having accidents.
We're swimming in a pool tomorrow, bro.
I mean, but then, like, when you've got a normal immune system and you have your chlorine and stuff, it's fine. But for someone who's got no immune system, I mean, my immune system is so low because you don't want your immune system to attack on your heart. So you're on that brink, really, of just leaving you a little bit of immunity so you're not going to completely catch every infection under the sun. So that's why we can't swim in pools. So my mind goes to germs.
So I've just had a visualization. I'm sorry, Jim. Backside's been clean. I've just had somebody like polishing their bum in my head now for the last couple of minutes. That's pretty gross, right? The stuff that's in those pools must be quite shocking.
So with the whole Parkinson's and the dopamine stuff, do you find that getting in cold water, getting into cold water supposedly generates more dopamine and things like that?
Well, I don't think it's just more dopamine, but it's just, for me, it gives me that. It's anything, isn't it? Because your brain goes out. Because with Parkinson's as well, because you've got so little dopamine, you can be prone to anxiety and depression, right?
Yeah.
You're more at risk of that because you don't have those feel good, neurotransmitters floating around your brain. But what it does, cold water gets you out of your own head, right? Because you're thinking about, shit, it's cold, it's cold. And then it takes you out of your own head for a start, right? And then actually, it's the effect that you get afterwards. So, I mean, I've just always found it's just, for me, it's like a reset for me. And that's why, I mean, it works, and it's always worked. And that's why I suppose I stuck with swimming when I've come to fundraisers for Kenzie's Gift. I've always done sporting fundraisers for Kenzie's Gift because it is about being outside in nature, getting your body moving, being with community, being with friends. It's all of that comes around, and it's so because it is a mental health charity for kids and stuff. It sits quite well, you know what I mean? Because when life is tough and life is hard, and I remember even like reading, I've had to been doing the audiobook for Bollocks. And it's been a hard couple of days reading that this last few days because it's the bit where Kenzie dies. And afterwards, and it was like how I turned to sport because I wanted the physical pain to take over the psychological pain. But it was being outside, being by the beach, having those moments of just giving you some sort of respite, just to ground you, to just get you through it. And there's a lot to be said for it, you know what I mean? I suppose that's where I'm a bit evangelical when it comes to being sport outside in nature. It just does. A concrete jungle doesn't do it for me. A gym with lots of people doesn't do it for me. It's being out in nature, in the environments, feeling all your senses being stimulated, alive. And and I'd have to say, with swimmers, I've never met a grumpy swimmer. I've met a grumpy runner, but I've never met a grumpy swimmer.
Yes.
There's something amazing about swimmers. There's just something. Yeah.
You should see me just before I get in the water.
Well, yeah.
He looks like a little Tyrannosaurus Rex with his hands up like this. Tell us about, are we allowed to talk about this?
Yes, you're allowed to talk about this.
Tell us about Bollocks and when is it coming out? And obviously there's a lot in there that we've sort of briefly touched on this podcast. But
yeah, so Bollocks is my memoir, which I've been asked to write a book for a while now, and it's I thought, who wants to read my story? And it's and I think I didn't want to tell people how to do grief, how to do illnesses, how to do, because that's not what my life is about. I think it was more about, because our experiences in life are all different. We've all got our stories, but it's how we live a life. So Bollocks is pretty much about my life. So this is the summary of it anyhow, and I think this probably sums it up really well. So I'll actually read a bit to you. So life just didn't throw the book at me. It dropped the whole library. Northern Irish born, Kiwi by choice. I've lived through cancer, the death of my 3-year-old daughter Kenzie, Parkinson's and a heart transplant, and yet somehow I still get up swinging. Out of that chaos came Kenzie's Gift, the charity I founded to help children and young people whose parent or sibling has died or are seriously ill. 2 decades on, it's supported thousands across New Zealand. Bollocks is my no-nonsense and at times darkly funny memoir of survival, swearing and starting again when life refuses to play fair. Bold, brave and brilliantly human, this book is a masterclass in resilience, says I. And Hilary Barry has endorsed it. She when she read it, she said, holy shit, Nick, this is just, she couldn't put it down. And she said, if it were fiction, you'd think it unbelievable. The fact that it's true is just something else.
When does it come out?
It comes out in October.
And how do people get hold of it?
well, hopefully through all good bookstores.
Yes.
But also they can get it through my website, nickrussell.co.nz. They can sign up for updates on it through the website. It will be available via audiobook and Kindle as well as the hardback copy for the soft copy.
Is bollocks an Irish word, or
It is.
and conversion means?
Well, it's like shite.
Bollocks is just like
It's what you think of it. Yes.
Yeah, it's just
Bollocks.
bollocks.
As it says. Yeah.
Bollocks. It's just, oh, fuck's sake, there's something else going on with my life.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, you
just
just keep,
another one. Bollocks.
it's just you keep going, and it's not downplaying, the stuff that people go through by any stretch of the imagination. But
We need to find a sponsor for our 12 by 1 mile, and we're going to put bollocks on the one side of the caps and Kenzie's gift on the other side of the caps.
fantastic!
Huh?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bollocks.
I'm up for that. Yeah.
Yeah, all you are gems, and thank you everybody for listening to me this morning as I rabbited on about. Hopefully you've got something out of it, and hopefully you'll all come and join in the 12 by 1 mile
Yep.
thing and get behind it and raise some money for some children around New Zealand who are really doing it tough. So it's like that's what we're doing
Absolutely.
it for. So it's when they've gone through the unthinkable that there's saviours that can actually make a big change for them by swimming in.
Well, you are an inspiration and a legend, and it's an honor to have met you. And I hope we can do some shit together down the line. I'm thinking immediately, you just need someone to flip you over, right? So we can swim anywhere, and you need a partner next to you. And if you freeze up, we just got to flip you over.
Flip me over, yeah.
So
My flipper.
bollocks and flipper, we'll be good.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. I've so enjoyed this conversation. It's been wonderful just meeting you and hearing your story. And I'm amazed at the work that you do. And
No, thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Truly
Thank you, Duncan.
inspirational, Nick. Thank you so much.
And thank you to everyone. Yeah.
cool.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hi, my name is Caitlin O'Reilly. I'm the youngest person to have completed the Ocean 7 Challenge. If this really cool podcast has helped you learn something new, maybe it's introduced you to new swimmers, made you smile, then please take the opportunity to subscribe to Duncan and Jim's channel. I'm sure they would absolutely appreciate all your support. Cheers.
Thank you, Caitlin. As always, if you would like to give us feedback, you can find us on Instagram at SwimScape Adventures, or email, which is info@swimscape.co.nz. If you enjoyed this, please consider rating our show wherever you get your podcasts. It helps new people find the show. Thanks, and we'll talk again soon.